George Russell 4th, Isaac Hadjar 5th. We said Lando Norris starting 6th. Max Verstappen. Interesting comments from Max Verstappen. If I had my way, we'd have done something different. It's going to be a complex race. I think he wanted a power unit change.
Yeah, he was happy to start in there. We got an Aston Martin stop out on track. We have Fernando Alonso in the middle of Becketts. It's got it going good. Luckily with this era, the hybrid era Formula 1 cars, you can restart them yourself. So, you know what that reminded me of? The F1 movie. Brad Pitt tried that trick, didn't he?
Yeah.
In the F1 movie.
He's got just about as much age and experience as Brad Pitt on that one. Fernando Alonso will now bomb round the last few corners and will have hot tyres right at the start of this race, and we know from the movie, Martin, what that does.
Yes, he'll be leading by the end of the lap.
Absolutely. Fernando Alonso, slowest qualifier, by the way, qualifying lower than he did for his first British Grand Prix 25 years ago as a rookie here, driving for Minardi, and he's coming into the pits. This is not great for Fernando Alonso. It's been a very disappointing season for Aston Martin. 1, 2, 3, 4 DNFs already. Might even be a DNS. Did not start today. So we've got 21 drivers then lining up on the grid. I spoke too soon. And the pre-race starting procedure allows the revs to build up, and we will barrel into Abbey in a few moments' time. It's lights out and away we go for the British Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc got a very good reaction off the line. He's already ahead of Kimi Antonelli, and Lewis Hamilton is coming up on the Mercedes, and it's Ferrari 1-2 going through the first corner. Charles Leclerc leads from Hamilton, Antonelli, then comes Russell with Hadjar on his outside. Good start from Armin Lindblad, who has to go wide, and Max Verstappen keeps him at bay. Lando Norris has lost places as Russell and Hadjar squabbling away through the loop.
And then Antonelli already got George Russell on his tail. They don't really want to use too much battery power in these early phases, but they don't need the Ferraris to get away. Antonelli, knowing he cannot afford contact with the Ferraris, he had to let them go. He knows from the sprint yesterday, and we've got 3 cars off in the background.
That looked like Esteban Ocon in the Haas, and it was also going wide. Liam Lawson in the Racing Bulls, but he carried on his way. There were 3 cars going wide. Alex Albon is right down at the back, sadly for him in the Williams. There's his teammate Carlos Sainz as we see the leading pack streaming through now. There's Max Verstappen ahead of Lando Norris. A decent start from Max, making up a place.
Yeah, the Red Bulls got away nicely, didn't they? So it's a Noah's Ark running at the moment in the top 6. 2 Ferraris, 2 Mercedes, 2 Red Bulls, and then Lando Norris.
Down the Hangar Straight and into Stowe, and Oscar Piastri thinks he's got damage. Last year's runner-up here who led for the first part of the Grand Prix. Now, into Vale we come. Charles Leclerc from Hamilton, from Antonelli, from Russell, Hadjar and Verstappen, the top 6.
They were all trigger happy on their overboost yesterday in a 17-lap sprint. They're not doing that as much today. They know they've got to think bigger picture. Gravel on the, so somebody's been very wide off the start line there. So they're not doing that so much today as Antonelli shapes up behind Lewis Hamilton. An action replay really of the sprint yesterday. So I think the 2 Mercedes drivers know they can just bide their time a little bit, but Russell does not need Hadjar past him.
So Oscar Piastri is down into 18th, make that 19th as Lance Stroll gets past him, and it was Ollie Behrman in the Haas who got caught up, we saw, going off at Brooklands. Early stages here. The Mercedes of George Russell under pressure from Isaac Hadjar ahead of Max Verstappen.
And Russell will be having to use up his battery to defend. That means he'll spend several laps then trying to recondition it, and he'll lose ground to the top 3. George really needs to try and break clear of those 2 Red Bulls, and we've got a yellow flag very briefly out there.
Yeah, someone's gone off as Hulkenberg, I think, was the one that's gone off, and he's now been passed by Behrman and Alonso down there at the bottom of the pack. Hamilton is 8/10 behind Charles Leclerc as they head into Stowe, make that 6/10 with Hamilton picking up a slipstream behind his teammate, and at the moment the Ferraris holding the rest very much at bay as we ride on board with Max Verstappen.
What are Red Bull going to do about this? You've got Hadjar ahead of Verstappen. Verstappen looks like he's faster in this phase of the race, or is he just using more energy up from his battery pack? But at the moment, it's all settling down now as they try to find out where they're at, work out how much grip there is on the track. They haven't been out since yesterday afternoon. There's been an awful lot of track action since then. And of course, they've got a full tank of fuel as well. So the car and Verstappen up the inside of his teammate.
But the old switcheroo may be in prospect here. Hadjar can't quite get back on terms going out of the Aintree corner, but he'll pick up a slipstream now down the Wellington Straight to try and get back past Max Verstappen, who moves over to the right-hand side, leaves him just about enough space there. Hadjar can't force his way through.
And this is giving Russell the breathing space he needs as Piastri has a whole new nose and front wing assembly on. It looks like there's some other damage as well. They struggled to get the old nose off, so it must have been very badly damaged for Oscar Piastri, who's down and out really effectively. As there, Verstappen gets wide in Copse corner. That's put Hadjar all over the back of him again. And behind them, then Norris can start catching up. But it's given Russell the breathing space he needs to calm down, sort his car out, sort his battery out, and get on with his race.
Yeah, the battles are going on behind George Russell at the moment as Isaac Hadjar in that slipstream gains on Max Verstappen, but can't force a way past. They are might investigate Albon and Behrman for the turn 6 incident. Turn 6, of course, here being Luffield, and we saw those cars going off. Meanwhile, Bortoletto up into 11th place. He got ahead of Ocon, who's now been passed by Gasly.
And Sainz had a great start in the Williams, up to P10 and in the World Championship points.
Avoided all the kerfuffle and made his way into the points, Carlos Sainz. So the battle for the lead, 6 and a bit tenths of a second between Leclerc and Hamilton, make that now 9/10 of a second, but Hamilton's got that overtake mode available, extra half a megajoule of energy, replacing the DRS from last year. Kimi Antonelli a little bit further behind in third, but just about keeping tabs on the two Ferraris. And in fact, the last lap set exactly the same time to the nearest 1,000th of a second as Lewis Hamilton. Then George Russell, Verstappen ahead of Hadjar, Norris ahead of Lawson, Lindblad ahead of Sainz. Piastri is back out on the track and down in 21st on the hard tyre. And they maybe hope, McLaren, that he can go to the end of the race on that one. His race has been ruined by that damage. Let's go to Sky Race Control if we can. Anthony Davidson's got some news on the start.
Yeah, Crofty, it was Antonelli just picked up so much wheel spin off the line, particularly when he shifted into second gear. His engineer Bono was quickly on the radio to say, right, okay, let's just focus now and get into our rhythm. A bit like it was for him in Austria. He's got to keep his cool at this stage in the race, but I get the feeling that the fastest car at the moment sits in third place, but what can Ferrari do to work as a team? Further down the field, Piastri, by the way, got involved with Liam Lawson into Brooklands. That's where the front wing was damaged.
And Alex Albon hits Ollie Behrman. That's why that is under investigation. Albon locked up and went into the back of the Haas. Charles Leclerc seems to be breaking free at the moment of that 1 second barrier, which is not good news for his teammate. And at this stage, Martin, only on lap 5, can Ferrari start to work as a team here and Leclerc keep Hamilton within a second, under no threat, to maintain their position?
If he's interested in doing that, Charles Leclerc had a bit of a poor spell, and he was missing in action this weekend as well until final qualifying. And it sounds as if, and the question we were asking Ferrari this morning, sounds as if he's just beginning to dial in to the driving style required with these cars. He's up front nicely at the moment, but let's see what Ferrari, they've always got a little plume of vapour coming. All the Ferrari powered cars have got a little plume of vapour, which is intriguing, coming out the back of the car.
So here's the sprint start then. Charles Leclerc has finished 14th in the last 2 British Grand Prix. He leads this one and he got a really good reaction, and then the wheel spin kicks in and you see Kimi Antonelli getting swallowed up by the 2 Scarlet Reds.
Antonelli leading the World Championship quite smartly, did not just plunge up the inside of Lewis Hamilton. He just let it go and thinking he can play the longer game.
That was the first moment that the Racing Bull of Arvid Lindblad went off the track. That'll be another one at the end of the Wellington Straight. This is Lando Norris. Looked like a tentative start there from Lando Norris, and he was passed by Max Verstappen.
It was spinning its wheels left, right and centre for Lando, and then he got passed by Piastri, who had a major wobble on the outside of Abbey corner.
This is Alex Albon. Ollie Behrman is the car alongside him, and Ollie Behrman getting spun around, and that has cost Alex Albon a 10-second time penalty for causing a collision.
Fair cop. He lost control of his car by locking the front axle and took another driver out.
And there's your damage on Oscar Piastri's front wing. That wasn't going to make it to the end of the race, which is why they had to change it. Really bad luck there for Oscar Piastri.
About £250,000 worth of nose and front wing.
Yeah. Now, bad news for Lewis Hamilton, who's been noted for a false start, potentially moving before the lights went out. That's a 5-second penalty if the data proves that he did.
Yeah, that's not slightly out of position with a judgment call. That tends to be a factual thing that's fed back, but it's only noted at the moment.
We're on for plan B. B for Bravo, say Ferrari, which should still be a one-stop strategy in this race. But it's how long can you maybe extend? And look, Lewis Hamilton just dropped back a bit here from Charles Leclerc and providing a bit of a buffer for his teammate. Is this the way Ferrari are going to work as a team today, that Hamilton will frustrate those behind and allow Charles Leclerc to build up a big gap out in front?
So Antonelli now within the overtake mode of Lewis Hamilton. That means he'll get a half a megajoule more to charge his battery up and keeps top speed, higher top speed for longer, which is what got him past Hamilton yesterday. Ferrari will be very keen for Hamilton to hold Antonelli up as long as possible.
Behind our front three, George Russell 2.5 seconds back, just over from his teammate Kimi Antonelli. Max Verstappen 1.5 seconds behind George Russell. Isaac Hadjar within the overtake mode, 1 second in 6th. Then comes Lando Norris, gap of about 5 seconds to Liam Lawson, Arvid Lindblad and Gabriel Bortoletto now in the final points position. He and Gasly have overtaken Sainz, and Hamilton is officially under investigation now for that false start.
Yeah, that's normally some data. It's not an opinion, it's data in terms of was your car moving before the lights went out. Anyway, let's hope for the best for Lewis there, but he could well be taking a 10-second penalty there.
He certainly could. He's under pressure though at the moment from Kimi Antonelli. We're watching Pierre Gasly gaining on Carlos Sainz in the Williams as Alpine try and move up a bit. And there you have the back marker of Alex Albon, who is about to be lapped, I would imagine, by our leading trio. Hamilton down the Sir Lewis Hamilton straight he goes, with Kimi Antonelli in hot pursuit. And it is confirmation of a 5-second time penalty for a false start, moving before the lights went out for Lewis Hamilton. That is a big blow to his race today.
It is. Actually, with a 5-second penalty, you actually sort of think if you were P10 on the grid, it'd be worth having that. Yeah. Honestly, if you can make 6 places up, that'll be worth a lot more than 5 seconds to you.
But if you're P3...
Yeah, don't get me wrong, but you know what I mean, if you make a lot of places up, so obviously I'm sure they could have given, if they'd have seen more of an advantage, they might have given a stiffer.
Let's have a little look here. 4 lights and now 5.
Wow, just that, he just anticipated it, but he didn't actually, when the lights went out, he was not moving, hence the smaller penalty.
Just that little stutter before.
Yeah, it was just, he dropped the clutch in anticipation. Car moved slightly, almost jumped in its wheel tracks, didn't it? Within that critical time before the lights go out. That's hard. It's a fact. Don't get me wrong, but that's a brutal penalty there because the car was not moving. But they are the rules.
We've all been eager for this race right from the start of the season. Lewis Hamilton as keen as everybody else to get it underway, and sadly, just a bit too keen on that occasion.
And that's why it wasn't described as a jump start. He did not jump start, he was moving just before the lights went out. Because if you can just get your car, if you can just get your car rolling slightly, like we used to when it was a flag and none of those sensors in the track, it made a huge difference to your first 200 metres.
Certainly did. Gasly has got past Carlos Sainz and up into 11th place. Charles Leclerc, who in 2021 led the British Grand Prix until he was passed by Lewis Hamilton with 3 laps remaining, is in the lead and has been from the outset of this year's British Grand Prix by about 3 seconds from Hamilton, who's got that 5-second time penalty.
Yeah. Do you remember what Lewis said yesterday after the sprint where he finished second to Antonelli? As soon as he got within my overtake, I knew I was in trouble, and that's exactly where Antonelli is at the moment. Max Verstappen going along really nicely, actually, in P5, very close to the pace of the 4 ahead of him.
Just looking at Lewis Hamilton's tyres, Anthony Davidson, is he saying anything on the team radio about them?
Yeah, I've been listening properly. Unfortunately, it's going from bad to worse for Lewis Hamilton at this stage in the race. He's complaining of front left graining on that tyre, so that explains why he's dropping back from his teammate Leclerc here.
Sainz 12 currently ahead of Colapinto. A lot of action going on around him. There's a lot of action down that Hangar Straight where Kimi Antonelli passed Lewis Hamilton in the sprint race yesterday. This time around he was a bit too far back, but this pressure is mounting and the challenge is coming, and eventually you get the feeling Hamilton's not going to be able to defend.
What we're seeing here is particularly a Ferrari team in this battle learning from yesterday's sprint race about where they need to deploy their energy differently to keep Mercedes at bay, particularly down to Stowe down the back straight. So they all learned so much in those 17 laps.
Right, the end might be nigh for second place for the time being for Lewis Hamilton, because Kimi Antonelli is ever closer as they make their way down now the Wellington Straight towards Brooklands, and the BRDC clubhouse is just a few car lengths too far back to attempt that move is Kimi Antonelli, but you know it is coming soon. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen, as you mentioned, Martin, going along well, bit by bit is gaining on George Russell. No concerns on the gearbox, say Mercedes to George Russell, who felt a bit of an odd downshift just a few moments ago.
George Russell's got a lot of fans here at Silverstone. One of them is not Max Verstappen. He's not a big George Russell fan, it must be said, makes it quite clear. And he is, as you say, homing in, but not yet within the overtake mode. There they are, kind of in the middle of your picture now. So, and Isaac Hadjar's just dropped out of the overtake zone behind his teammate Max Verstappen. So we've still got the 2x2x2. Antonelli perhaps fancies changing that, but at the moment you can't see where it's going to be a slam dunk, as Leclerc peerlessly out the front with a 3-second gap, but that's not enough as Antonelli takes too much curb at Vale on the way into club, and that's what's extended this gap here. As the car jumps and moves around a little bit, you hesitate getting on the throttle. George Russell just about keeping them inside.
For Charles Leclerc, it is all going swimmingly well here at Silverstone this afternoon. For Kimi Antonelli, it's a tad frustrating being stuck behind Lewis Hamilton, but his closest championship rival is George Russell, and Russell's still behind him, and this much closer now for Kimi Antonelli on the run down towards Brooklands. Lewis Hamilton tries to break the toe and keeps Antonelli at bay.
Lewis Hamilton getting a lot of wheel spin now. He's hurting coming out of the corners as he puts the power down. That's not only wasting battery juice, that's very slow, and it overheats the surface of your rear tyres. So he's really under pressure now.
Right, into Copse we go. Kimi Antonelli has sprung the surprise overtake and has got past Lewis Hamilton on the inside at Copse. Antonelli up into second place. We were maybe expecting it at Stowe. We were maybe expecting it at Brooklands. Well, if Lewis Hamilton was expecting there, he might have got caught out a bit, because that was very opportunist and very nice.
Keep an eye on this straight though. If Hamilton's got any battery power that he hasn't used up, I think he might have needed the boost to defend down to Brooklands on this lap. And as Antonelli clears the finish line in 3 corners time, that then you can then say the overtake is done, and it needs to be neat and tidy through here. And that, if he's got some pace, he can start getting off after Charles Leclerc, who's now over 4 seconds ahead.
So Hamilton's now within that overtake mode. That'll help him for a few more laps, and this is how Kimi Antonelli did it, and he realised that that moment was there, the gap was there on the inside, and he had the pace over the Ferrari.
Yeah, I think he caught Lewis a little bit by surprise. Lewis tried to cover it off, but in a very fair way, it must be said. It wasn't too brutal, and he tried to squeeze him, but Antonelli was having none of it. But that was a very unorthodox place to overtake, but we're seeing plenty of that this year. What can you tell us, Ted?
I can tell you just down at Ferrari. Oh, team radio.
Already put 2 laps out. I haven't said anything, but the judges are so
bad. Still not happy, is he? Still not happy, Max Verstappen. Okay, Ferrari don't mind that too much because Lewis Hamilton has done a great job for the team there, giving Charles Leclerc that 4-second lead over Kimi Antonelli. Ferrari have already, I think, counted Lewis Hamilton out of this race with that mistake, with that penalty. Yes, a pit stop under a safety car might mitigate that, but this is all about focus on Charles Leclerc, trying to get a little bit of time over Kimi Antonelli in this first stint before we start the stops in about 8 to 10 laps time.
Last win for Charles Leclerc, Austin 2024. He is the race leader here. He's got a 4-second buffer over Kimi Antonelli and a long, long way to go to protect that 4-second buffer.
So Antonelli a tenth quicker in the first sector. Now he's clean and clear, a tenth quicker in the second sector than Leclerc. Let's see how it is over the line. He's gaining 2 tenths on this lap so far, 3 tenths slower, interestingly. So it was actually Leclerc extending his lead with Antonelli in clear air. So we know Antonelli would have used a lot of power there to get past Hamilton. Maybe he just needs a couple of laps to get his SOC, as we call it, state of charge, SOC, back under control, and then set about the other Ferrari.
Yep, what you take out of your baskets, your energy baskets, you've got to top back up again before you can get maximum deployments. Max Verstappen is now within a second of George Russell. However much he is concerned about the downshifts and the behaviour of gearbox and power unit, he's closing in on George Russell currently. Isaac Hadjar behind him now has Lando Norris a little bit closer for company as Norris tries to get back up into the top 6 where he started this race.
Maybe Max said the downshifts are good. How do you know there's 4 asterisks?
Because the word good often doesn't get bleeped out.
Interesting point.
Unless, of course, someone wants to set a completely different narrative this weekend. But I rather got the feeling, given Max's demeanour all weekend long about the state of his car, good was not going to be the word. He'll enjoy this, though, chasing down George Russell. And he's very much up for the challenge here. So Antonelli losing a place at the start. Leclerc gaining a place at the start. Lewis Hamilton's back in P3 with a 5-second penalty to come. George Russell is 4th. Verstappen has picked up a place already, or a couple of places in this race. And I think I said it might be another one coming soon.
Leclerc quicker again on that previous lap. So only marginally, and they're quite a bit quicker between them now than Hamilton, Russell and Verstappen. You can see now. But for Antonelli, he wants to win this Grand Prix, of course he does. But if you've got your championship head on, you know, his closest pursuers in the World Championship are Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, and they're behind him. Charles Leclerc's quite a long way back. So, you know, the percentage game, of course, he wants to catch him and win the Grand Prix, and we'll be hoping he can do so. But right now, Leclerc is showing all the pace he needs. My goodness, that was some understeer there for Lando Norris in the turbulent air behind Isaac Hadjar, just waiting for the front axle to grip up.
Through Copse we go, always worth listening to the cars through Copse. Yeah, for Antonelli, it's not going too badly at the moment in terms of the championship. For Charles Leclerc, it's going wonderfully well. 3-time podium finisher, of course, here at Silverstone. A couple of third places in 2019 and 2020 in the British Grand Prix in 2021. He finished as runner-up that particular year to Lewis Hamilton. Could he be about to go one step better in 2026?
Talked about Carlos Sainz's good start up to 10th, but he's lost 3 places since then, and now he's got Esteban Ocon hunting him down. So the Williams not with, sadly, great race pace. They're 2.5 seconds off the pace of the leaders at the moment is Carlos Sainz. And we always get... That's interesting, isn't it?
And he's on the hard tyre.
He's on the hard tyre, so that's graining up already. That's where the surface rips rather than grips, like a pencil eraser, and you have to sometimes work through that, and sometimes it will clear up as Max Verstappen homes in ever more on the gearbox of George Russell.
Some of that graining issue could be caused by damage that Oscar might have picked up when he made contact and had to change that front wing. But yeah, the hard tyre, after only 11 laps, not looking too pristine for Oscar Piastri. Through Copse, George Russell ahead of Max Verstappen, but for how much longer? Verstappen is coming at him as we ride on board with the four-time world champion, chasing fourth place here. Maggotts into Becketts, swing, flow, beautiful corners, and into Chapel to head down the Hangar Straight.
Now, there's some bits and pieces we've got to sort out with these cars, a lot of which is going to happen next year. But they can follow each other so much better, can't they? As Arvid Lindblad there, who's running 9th behind his teammate Liam Lawson, is like, get on with it, I can go a lot faster. And Lawson's reply will be, I'm managing, and we're not going to beat anybody ahead of us, we're not going to catch Lando Norris, I'm just managing my tyres. Get off my case.
So, Ted Kravitz on the case in the pit lane. What you got for us?
A couple of things. First of all, some of the big teams' mechanics getting ready for a pit stop, not least Red Bull. Alonso, some movement at Williams. I wonder if they might retire Alex Albon. They're coming out of the pit lane now. Albon does have damage and is a lap down already, 55 seconds behind Fernando Alonso. So I think they might be retiring Albon. Alonso did continue, by the way, after pitting on the formation lap. Here is Alex Albon.
Is he going to serve his penalty, Ted? Is he going to serve his penalty?
I guess you serve your penalty and then you retire.
Yeah, then go out and then come in to retire.
Yeah. What a day for Britain's 6th driver on the pit.
The London-born racer, Alex Albon, who races, of course, under the Thai flag. Disappointment for him, disappointment for Ollie Behrman down in 17th. But so far, Brits scoring points. Arvid Lindblad would like his teammate to hurry up a bit. He's in 9th place. Lando Norris would like Isaac Hadget to slow down a bit so he can easily pass him. George Russell, who'd like Max Verstappen to disappear so he can hold on to 4th place and think about 3rd. And Lewis Hamilton, who's got to think about, sadly for him, a 5-second time penalty.
Well, Verstappen's 4.8 seconds at the moment behind Lewis Hamilton. So Hamilton with his penalties running a net 5th place. And so he'll be wanting to somehow get it 5 seconds clear of Russell and Verstappen to have yet another podium. What's the tally of that Lewis's podiums? It's staggering here at the British Grand Prix.
Yeah, I mean, all these records are pretty staggering here, but in terms of podiums, 50, the most podiums at a single racetrack. He had the most consecutive podiums in 12, I think it was, at Silverstone. All of these records. He started this race actually 8 laps short of Jim Clark's record for British Grand Prix laps led, not necessarily here at Silverstone, where he's got 345 laps led. That is a record. 365 is the record for a British Grand Prix. Verstappen just about 3 car lengths behind George Russell here.
Well, he didn't start in the pit lane, isn't it? Because Max and the Red Bull and the Ford power unit with the Red Bull powertrains is going along really quite nicely.
Here he comes. George Russell's not going to defend this. Went to the inside. Verstappen for one moment thought about doing the same, then switched to go around the outside at Copse, and we've had 2 overtakes there. Kimi Antonelli on Lewis Hamilton, and now Max Verstappen on George Russell.
Right, watch out for Hangar Straight, because Max would have used extra boost to get through there. Can Russell come back at him down the back straight? To an extent he is.
He can, you know. Verstappen slams that door shut. Russell tried to go round the outside. And that's 2 very close moments between both of these drivers on the same lap as Verstappen now dives into the pits to change tyres.
Yeah, that's why he uses energy, so he can pit. I did tell you he's not George's biggest fan. That was a super aggressive defence, especially when he's pitting.
I'll have to see the on-board in a moment. Hard tyres on Verstappen's Red Bull, and out he comes. 2.6 seconds the stop, and he should come out ahead of Liam Lawson down in 8th place in a really nice bit of clean air for that Red Bull. You can see Lawson coming down the main straight now. Verstappen obviously has a much tighter inside line and comfortably ahead of the Racing Bulls down in 7th place.
And George Russell was told by his team, do whatever he doesn't do. So he pits, you carry on. He carries on, you pit. And Red Bull then will undercut them. He goes out on the fresh hard compound tyres. Will Mercedes react to that, or will they try and get an offset by running George Russell a little bit longer? We're about to find out.
They'll work this out, Martin. What is the warm-up on the hard tyre? Can you put in a lap that is good enough fresh out of the box to perform that undercut? Or by going onto the hardest tyre in the Pirelli range, is it going to take you a couple of laps and therefore you've got some breathing space if you're Mercedes and Russell?
And do you want to take all that life out of the tyre so early? And by the way, the two Red Bull drivers are the only drivers with two brand new sets of medium tyres, one of which they've used, and a brand new set of hard compound, which Max Verstappen is now on. So they're in a good place, should they want or need, if there's a later safety car, to stick a new set of boots on.
Yeah, they certainly are. 17 laps led for Charles Leclerc, who'd only led one lap in the previous 4 Grand Prix before today. Out in front by over 4 seconds. 4.2 seconds to Kimi Antonelli. Make that now 18 laps led as he's crossed the line to start yet another trip around Silverstone. We're on board with Lando Norris, who's trips around Silverstone. We can look at the fans, he can look at the blue sky and the white puffy clouds, and he can look a lot at Isaac Hadjar's rear wing, because he's been stuck behind that for quite a while. Ted, down to you.
That is really early for Max Verstappen. That's a good 4 or 5 or even 6 laps earlier than Pirelli and some other teams thought. So either the degradation is higher than we expected, or Red Bull have got something up their sleeve, because if it is just the one stop with that hard tyre to the end, that's a very, very long final stint. Listen, Wookie, on top of that, not great for the tyres on Lando Norris and Lewis Hamilton. Norris says, I'm just trying to keep the car on track, calling it impossible, and Hamilton on the radio saying this car just won't turn. I mean, obviously it will turn, but he's not doing great lap times.
Yeah, I mean, the way the cars are all moving around, a two-stopper is looking more likely than it certainly was when we were being briefed this morning, wasn't it, by the various teams?
Yeah, it was an easy one-stopper, and they were all going to start on the medium tyres. Well, that bit certainly came true. Whether it's an easy one-stopper, well, I suppose we'll find out. And Oscar Piastri, first to put the hard tyre on, as Isaac Hadjar has now been called into the pits, and that will free Lando Norris. Oscar Piastri on the hard tyre, currently lapping in the high 134s. So not exactly going great guns.
And Isaac Hadjar then pitting in this second Red Bull. So it seems as if what Red Bull does, and Lando Norris just done 2 personal bests. He was right behind Hadjar while he was out there. This is a slow stop. It's going to be in the 3s, isn't it? It's in the 4s even for Isaac Hadjar. So not what he needed at all. Max Verstappen on those hard compound tyres smashes a new fastest lap in the mid 1 minute 33s. And Ant's got news for us.
Yeah, that's exactly what Norris has just been told, Martin, that the undercut is very powerful, even on the hard tyres. And that's what we're looking at here with this race between Hadjar versus Norris.
Yeah, and Isaac Hadjar, a slow stop, not helping. Coming out after that slow stop behind the Audi of Gabriel Bortoleto. That won't help him either. He needs to clear this Audi as quickly as he possibly can to have a hope of staying ahead of Norris. He's gone for the overtake, but under braking, not quite alongside.
And this is for position, there's not blue flags involved here. Surely McLaren will react to this and bring Norris in and try to keep or gain track position on Hadjar.
So he's got past Gabriel Bortoleto and into Copse, but he has lost time in doing so. This has given Lando Norris and McLaren a little bit of breathing space here. So very good news for them, bad news for Isaac Hadjar. While all this is going on, Kimi Antonelli is starting to reel in Charles Leclerc a little bit. That gap at the front is going down to 3.5 seconds now. Hamilton is dropping further back from the front to George Russell. Will he be coming in, or do Mercedes now extend and hope that by overcutting, Russell will be there at the end of the race to pick off Verstappen?
Give him some fresher tyres. Norris did not pit, which was my question of whether McLaren would react to try to keep track position over Hadjar. So they're assuming, I think, that Red Bull are 2-stopping.
This might well be the case, or they might have bought themselves another lap with that slow stop and Hadjar getting stuck behind Gabriel Bortoleto. We shall see at the end of the next lap.
We've seen this all year. Second half of a stint when the tyres are a little bit fed up with life for being compressed and thrashed and spun. Antonelli is very good in these conditions. Very, very good when the car's probably a little bit flighty and he's coming back at Leclerc.
Zach Brown is listening in on the McLaren pit wall. Zach, Give us an update from your position of conditions and tyres and what happened to Oscar Piastri.
Oscar looks like tangled with Lawson, but actually we haven't seen the replays. But he had obviously front wing damage. Lando's hanging in there. Tires seem to be okay. Obviously, Oscar coming from where he is now is going to be tough to get into the points. And I think our race is with Red Bull.
No thought on that subject, Zach. No thought of covering Hadjar and Verstappen's pit stop?
No, not at the moment. I think Lando's comfortable with where we are. I think with how early they pitted will be a 2-stopper. So we'll see if we can possibly extend to 1.
Yeah, we like different tyre strategies. Gives us excitement by the end of the race. Zach, thanks ever so much for joining us. We've got a virtual safety car. Pit lane's going to get busy now. It really is, because what you lose, around about 18 seconds for a pit stop under normal conditions, 8 seconds for a virtual safety car.
It's an umbrella, believe it or not. So this means that will be gone in a heartbeat. So if you're not anywhere near the pit lane, you won't get the benefit because it's ending.
Esteban Ocon then is the one that's come in, and yeah, Charles Leclerc is just going through Maggotts and Becketts currently, so no chance for him to take advantage, or Kimi Antonelli.
Massive sigh of relief for the Red Bull team, because otherwise they'd have had an expensive pit stop under full green conditions, and nobody else has gained from that. Ocon sort of gained a bit from it, didn't he, by trundling in the pits under VSC.
Always worth bringing your brolly to Silverstone. Please keep a hold of it in the wind. We don't want to see them all blowing onto the track.
It's amazing it doesn't happen more often, isn't it? But I guess they had to recover it. Yeah, it did really, didn't you?
You don't want it ending up, in the side pods, or blowing onto a car or anything like that.
Yeah, over the halo.
So under that safety car, virtual safety car, Charles Leclerc has eked out a bit more time.
Geez, mate, got so much understeer, it's crazy. Car just won't turn.
So as the fuel load's going down, as the front tyres, as the tyres are getting worn, there you saw it there, understeer. The car is not steering enough.
Isaac Hadjar now with Arvid Lindblad just ahead of him, racing for position. 8th place currently Lindblad, who hasn't pitted, and Isaac Hadjar obviously has been in. So let's see how Arvid Lindblad can hold off the Red Bull driver who was in this car last year, of course. Two drivers that have been here many, many times at Silverstone, racing in the junior formula. Arvid winning both F3 races at Silverstone here in 2024. At the age of 16, he was the youngest winner in that series. And Isaac Hadjar winning in F3 in 2022 and F2 in 2024. They've made the graduation now to F1. And Hadjar's graduation has seen him move up to the senior team. And he's moved up to right behind Isaac Hadjar there, but he can't quite get past. Going into Brooklands, round Luffield we go. No room on the inside there. Someone's been off the track somewhere, because that looked really, really dusty for both cars to drive into. Down the old pit straight, Isaac Hadjar, little blast of boost, and he's up into 8th place.
And box. No, my tyres are still good.
Well, that is a really interesting call, because from what we'd heard of the radio so far, Lewis Hamilton was complaining about his car.
Penalty to be served.
Yeah, complaining about the tyres. Ferrari have now brought him in, but he might have wanted to stay out. George Russell has pitted too, and Lewis Hamilton, as you can see, comes out behind George Russell. Ted.
Got to say, those tyres of Lewis, they look good as well. No graining, no signs of wear on them. They looked okay, but he did need to serve the penalty and just rejoined just behind George Russell, having served that penalty. Hamilton's in the clear now.
And as often happens, Martin, when you serve a time penalty at a pit stop, your time taken to change the tyres is slower, because the team then get the go to touch the car, not to actually get going as the car comes to a standstill.
Yeah, because normally they follow the wheel with spindle in with the gun, don't they, on and for a 2 point something is a sweeter movement than having to wait.
3.8 seconds Lewis was stationary. Pierre Gasly seemed to be stationary for a little while, and look, 7.5 seconds that pit stop. So there's a 6-lap tyre offset between Max Verstappen and George Russell. in their battle for 4th place in this race. Hamilton has come out behind those two, down in 6th place, having now served that 5-second penalty. Gasly's back out on the track, and he's got Sainz just ahead of him.
So that has it's cost Lewis Hamilton his track position, 2 track positions really, with the 5-second penalty. His car was moving just before the lights went out, so harsh, but you know, there was a judgment of fact there, I'm afraid. So he didn't jump the start, but he did let the car move momentarily in a critical phase, as we said and we saw. Let's see what happens now. How can Russell go now on the hard compound tyres? Will that bring him up more to sort of the absolute front-running pace? Antonelli has got the gap down under 3 seconds now at the front.
Interestingly, they only told Lewis Hamilton he had a 5-second penalty when he came into the pit lane. They didn't actually tell him he had a penalty before then. Charles Leclerc is now going to pit, just in case Mercedes were thinking of an undercut on him. So Ferrari deciding, look, Lewis, we'll let you run your race and not tell you about the penalty until we absolutely have to, because you'd be wondering why no one was working on your car. Leclerc lapping Sergio Perez on his way into the pits, and following into the pits, Alex Albon, I think that is, still going in the Williams.
Yeah, Leclerc had a bit of traffic on the way through that lap and in, but this is a reactive pit stop, and he was starting to lose 3/4 tenths per lap to Antonelli, and I think Ferrari feel that is the right time. They can get straight on with that one, and it's a 2.4, and that will keep him in the lead, but the net lead, I think. But let's see what Antonelli can do in this phase while he's actually out front until his pit stop.
Yeah, this is Kimi time now, isn't it, for Antonelli to be freed and use whatever pace he has got left. He just went a fraction long, Charles Leclerc, on his marks there in the pit stop, which probably cost him a couple of tenths during the pit stop phase. Lewis Hamilton has now set the fastest lap of this race, and he is right behind George Russell, as you can see, in contention potentially for an overtake on his old teammate, if that can happen. Antonelli at 29.8 for this first sector as he gets the foot down, but Lando Norris 29.9, Verstappen 29.9. It's not as fast as you might think, although he is on much older tyres than Verstappen.
I think the equivalent of hammer time is let's go, as Bono's just told his young driver. Now he's actually out in front until his pit stop, we'll see. But the hard compound tyres are showing some really good pace. If they've got the durability we expect, then they should be good to go. Nobody's got 2 sets of them though, have they, available, I don't believe.
We are P6, we are fighting for the podium, P3.
So go get George, and in that battle it's very much hammer time. Anthony, down to you at race control.
Yeah, so the other battle that's going on obviously is with the other Brit, Lando Norris, who's fighting Isaac Hadjar, and his engineers come on the radio to say the gap is 19.6 to Lawson. Hopefully he'll hold up Hadjar. Well, unfortunately Hadjar's already passed. So that's another fight to, old news, but it's a fight to look out for.
Excellent, thank you very much indeed. And we're on board with Pierre Gasly and going through Abbey. First corner, we're on board with George Russell. The car right behind him is Lewis Hamilton.
You have to say, Ferrari have got absolutely Mercedes matching pace today, haven't they? Didn't have in Austria last weekend, where they were kind of no man's land, but they are every bit as fast as the Mercs around here.
Kimi Antonelli, a 15-second lead, and you lose about 18 seconds for a pit stop. The gap was 2.9 seconds when Charles Leclerc pitted on lap 26. We have passed half race distance now.
Don't let other people undercut me. We're keeping an eye on it, Kimi.
Well, Charles Leclerc was ahead of him. What Kimi Antonelli is a bit concerned about there is that by the time Mercedes say come into the pits, and he gets the call from that man there, Pete Bonington, that Charles Leclerc has actually opened up a bit more of a gap on the young Italian, who continues on his way to lead this British Grand Prix. Looking a little bit further back, George Russell very much under pressure from Lewis Hamilton here.
But I think the pair of them are about to put Max Verstappen under pressure, who's had the best of his new tyres now and is just ahead of them, lapping in the 34s, whereas the last time around, whereas the pair behind him are in the 32s, 1 minute 32s.
So George Russell is in overtake mode now. Or will be very, very shortly behind Max Verstappen. So that will help him a little bit, get closer to Max and keep Lewis Hamilton at bay, but it will propel those in 5th and 6th place even closer to the Red Bull of Verstappen, who I think is still suffering a few understeer problems out there and is not completely happy with the handling of his car. So just to remind you, Charles Leclerc has pitted, Max Verstappen down to Isaac Hadjar have pitted, Arvid Lindblad to Franco Colapinto have pitted, and then Pierre Gasly all the way down to Esteban Ocon have pitted. Alonso, Stroll and Albon have also been into the pits.
Antonelli and Norris, first and third, have not pitted.
That's why it's worth a little reminder out there, because you might be getting really excited. Lando Norris in 3rd place, but he's got to go and serve at least one pit stop still to come in this race. And I don't think he wants to stay out there very much longer before they get rid of those medium tyres that he's on. Ted, down to you.
No, he doesn't. In plain language, he's saying, I'm just surviving out here. I can't go for much longer, otherwise I'll crash. So I think what McLaren wants to do is 2 things. First of all, goal hang for a safety car and maybe a cheaper pit stop in terms of time, or even try to make it to lap 35, 36, and then put the soft tyre on, Crofty, and maybe go to the end. But it looks like Lando needs to pit now, and he is in. He comes into the pits. We'll see if McLaren can do their trademark quick stop, and yes, they can. That looked pretty sweet. That looked under 3 seconds to me. Lindblad was pitting to cover Bortoletto, which I think he has done. So Racing Bulls pitting Lindblad first, again, even though Lawson was first on the road. In fact, Lawson now comes into the pits. That's him that you can hear in the background.
Lando Norris comes out. Isaac Hadjar is the car on the left-hand side and is still ahead of Lando Norris. George Russell just showing Max Verstappen's mirrors that there's a big Mercedes right behind him. Lewis Hamilton is right behind George Russell. These 3 are separated by just a few car lengths now, going down the old pit straight, and we've seen 3 overtakes into Copse so far. So I wonder if we got another one coming, because here's Lewis Hamilton going round the outside at Copse of George Russell on the track, not exceeding track limits, and now through into Maggotts. It's wheel to wheel, and Hamilton just ahead of George Russell. Wow, was that exceptional driving from both drivers there to push it hard and not collide, and George Russell retakes that position from Hamilton down the Hangar Straight.
Hamilton used his battery down the pit straight, got the overtake down, hoped he could be a wide enough Ferrari, but lost out again. But that's given Verstappen some breathing space. But for how long?
He does like a little dabble on that boost button. Does Lewis Hamilton. We saw it yesterday in the sprint race too, and he went for it there. That reminded me very much. Remember that 2006 GP2 race where Lewis passed Nelson Piquet Jr. or something through Maggotts, one of his best overtakes at Silverstone ever, and it reminded me so much of that. Wow.
2 cars at that, I think, on that at that moment, but they probably need to settle down a bit, the pair of them, because it's costing them both quite a lot of energy and a lot of time.
Hamilton's still within touching distance of George Russell, but you can see how the gap has opened up from Max Verstappen back down to Russell. Meanwhile, while all that's happening, Lando Norris right behind Isaac Hadjar and are being frustrated once more. But here he goes. Lando Norris on fresher tyres than Hadjar. He's going to try and get past the Red Bull, move up into 6th place. Looks like he's done that by the time he gets into Brooklands. So, 6th place now for Lando Norris. He's dispatched at that Red Bull for the time being.
Yeah, Russell and Hamilton did really well not to even rub wheels tyres going through there.
Guys, let's vote. We're really to one side for Leclerc. Oh, let's go around one more. The plan is looking good.
So, Kimi Antonelli getting a little bit agitated that he's not come into the pits. Anthony Davidson's been following those messages on the team radio.
But basically, they're looking at this 3-way fight here, Crofty, as we see Hamilton try again into the club chicane. He just about hangs on to that one, does George Russell this time around. But Antonelli's worried about the threat of the undercut, and it's because of these three. But this fighting is helping his cause.
It certainly is. It's keeping them all at bay. But right, through farm we go. Russell ahead of Hamilton into village. Barely a car's length between them. George Russell looking for the best place to try and put his car to defend. Hamilton now on the inside, wants to get a good exit and a good slipstream down that Wellington straight, and he is sticking right behind the silver arrows of George Russell, who tries to break the toe, but he doesn't. Hamilton round the outside of Brooklands, and he's got past his old teammate once more. He's up into 4th place. Can he make this one stick though? Because Russell's right with him, and if Hamilton has used too much energy and has been too trigger happy on the boost, he's going to be vulnerable. And he is vulnerable, because here comes George Russell into Copse. You sir, me sir, you sir, me sir, I'll have it. Thank you very much. George Russell's back in front.
We've got to get to the Hangar Straight yet, but it is costing them. It's actually allowing a big space for Antonelli to come back into 2nd place when he pits with a huge tyre advantage over Charles Leclerc. And basically, Max Verstappen must be thoroughly enjoying this in his mirrors. But a feature we're going to see all year, I think, whoever's driving, is a really late, aggressive chop to try to protect while somebody's got more power than you.
Yeah, Verstappen's running the optimal deployment here and is just going quietly about his business. But that lap was a 1:33.9. George Russell was a 1:33.8. He gained a 10th, and Hamilton was a 1:34.7. So that's how much he lost out on that lap.
Yeah, we need to get some accurate battery information, don't we, up on screen, so we can watch it unfold ourselves and see where the drivers are getting on the happy button and why it might hurt them shortly afterwards.
And what the Mercedes strategists are doing is they're looking at this, Martin, and saying, right, our man, Kimi Antonelli, there's a gap to about 28 seconds back to Max Verstappen. So you're free to keep going a little bit here. Don't worry too much about Charles Leclerc. Yes, you're going to be a bit further behind him when you come out, but we're going to give you a big tyre offset to Charles Leclerc, and you'll gain on that in the closing stages.
This is where Bono is so good for Kimi. Kimi's just on the edge of losing his head a little bit. Don't leave me out, because he won't know that Verstappen, Russell and Hamilton are a long way behind. So he's got a free pit stop to them, a comfortable pit stop to them. And Bono's like, yeah, one more, I've got it covered, we've got it covered, relax.
Yeah, Kimi Antonelli is going through Abbey turn 1, and the rest, as you can see, are into Stowe. Max Verstappen would have seen George Russell in his mirrors. He knew that he had to cover that one off. See how Hamilton has dropped back just that little bit further, gathering up his energy to try the charge again.
If Russell can clear the Red Bull quickly, and we know Max is going to be super aggressive about that, if he can clear him quickly, that'll give him a big advantage over Hamilton.
And move him up into the podium places, where of course he has never finished at his home Grand Prix here at Silverstone. George Russell, who made his debut at Silverstone in 2019 for the Williams team, still looking to stand on that famous podium, but he's going to need to pull off an overtake with Max Verstappen here. Can he do it?
Max was doing a wall of death around the outside of the loop there, really struggling for grip, and that's put Russell ever closer to him. But the Mercedes, Anthony was just pointing out to me, the Sky Race Control, Mercedes seems particularly good after Becketts down the Hangar Straight. There's the understeer. You can see how much steering lock he's got on as he's waiting for the car to turn through Luffield. And we'll go through Copse and Maggotts and Becketts, and we'll see then if we've got enough grunt left to overtake down into Stowe.
Puncher right rear.
Oh no.
Move me or you do.
Oh no. Oh no, this is such bad news for George Russell, who was honing in on Max Verstappen, but he's going to have to come into the pits and change those tyres, even though, if that is a slow puncture, he's got more pace than Max Verstappen. Even with a slow puncture, he's trying the overtake on Max Verstappen, and even with a slow puncture, he almost pulls off the overtake on Max Verstappen and doesn't dive into the pits. So what are Mercedes seeing that George Russell maybe isn't feeling, or maybe the sensors have suggested something that completely isn't happening? I don't know, but we're going for another lap here. And Verstappen's third and Russell's fourth, and Hamilton is right back on this train again in fifth.
The high-speed nature of this circuit and also the regulations, you're not allowed to run below a certain pressure, hot. So how slow is the slow puncture is the key piece of information. But also, absolutely, box this lap, it's more than a slow puncture then. So you'll be breaking the regulations, but also a tyre gets so hot when it's punctured, it can blow up.
And that's not what you want at all. I mean, it's bad enough having to come into the pits when you don't need to if you're George Russell, but an exploding tyre could put you right out of the race, or worse. So they're going to box him at the end of this lap. Still got pace out there, and he's still got 24 PSI in those tyres, which is more than enough. But they can see the pressures dropping in that Mercedes garage, hence the warning out to George Russell. Lap 35, Kimi Antonelli starts a new lap of this British Grand Prix. He's the only one on the medium tyre. He hasn't pitted yet. Here comes George Russell on Max Verstappen. Wow, he's used a lot of boost there to get through and get past going into Stowe. Verstappen runs wide and off the track, manages to get that place back again before Russell dives into the pits.
Payback. That happened the other way around last time. Max put the move on him into Stowe.
However, did Max have to use a lot more energy than he really wanted to fend off George Russell down that Hangar Straight? And has that allowed Lewis Hamilton now a chance to creep up into the picture and potentially take that third place back again as they head down the Wellington Straight? We shall see. Russell in and out of the pits, and not a happy boy, as you would imagine, on the medium tyre, and he has it all to do from what is 6th at the moment and probably 7th by the time he comes out of the track. Here comes Hamilton on Max Verstappen down towards Brooklands. We've seen these two really going for it in this part of the track before. We're seeing it again.
Yeah, Russell then, no new tyres available to him now, so they've had to put a slightly used set on, and he can set off now and see if he can catch Hangar and Norris, for example. And now they're going to bring the leader Antonelli in. He's 13 seconds ahead of Leclerc, so he'll come out 7 or 8 seconds behind, but with much better tyres.
At that stage, when he came in, Charles Leclerc was lapping half a second quicker than Kimi Antonelli. That's why they brought him in. I'll tell you what, they brought him in at the same time as Nico Hülkenberg. And Hülkenberg there, he's passed him in the pit lane, it looked like. As Hamilton into Stowe, right behind Max Verstappen, almost had an inkling that a move was on. Ted, down to you.
That was really weird. I think Hülkenberg was having a problem, moved out of the way, and Kimi did. He undertook him into the pit lane. They'll have to sort that out, but it's brand new hard tyres for Kimi as he goes on. That worked out really well for Charles Leclerc, because Mercedes were going to bring Antonelli in on the lap where they had to pit George for the puncture.
So, 7.7 seconds, the gap between Leclerc and Antonelli. There is an offset in tyres of 10 laps. 10 laps fresher, Antonelli's tyres, compared to Charles Leclerc. So, game is on, chase is on. Who's going to win out on this one, the hunter or the hunted? We'll find out by the checker flag on lap 52. Verstappen's keeping Hamilton at bay here, but you just know there's a moment coming here, Martin Brundle. You can just feel it in your bones.
Yeah, Max has got 2 ace cards in his hand that he plays. One's the chop, when he wants to cut off an idea of going sailing down the inside on a straight. The other is, I'll just go around the outside then if you're going around the inside. With the car control that Max has, he can do that.
That's been noted, that moment between George Russell and Max Verstappen down at Stowe, where Verstappen had to leave the track, shall we say, on the outside there, because there just wasn't the room. So the stewards might have a little look at that and decide to investigate further, or they might decide that it was all fair in love and racing war. We'll keep you posted. Lap 37, the gap already 7 seconds, so 7/10 of a second better off Kimi Antonelli on that last lap than Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc is just coming up to a couple of back markers here of Carlos Sainz and Oscar Piastri, and that might just slow him down a touch. 10-lap tyre offset, says Bono, looking good for Kimi Antonelli. Charles Leclerc in 2021 led, didn't he, the British Grand Prix, and was looking good for a win before his teammate currently, Lewis Hamilton, overtook him with 3 laps to go. Is it going to happen again, I wonder, to Charles Leclerc?
So Russell flying now, already past Hadjar, back up into 6th place on those fresher mediums. And finally, Oscar Piastri then has to pit for what is his second time. First time was damage and tyres. But Max is driving a blinder in a defensive mode there. And it's certainly keeping Lewis Hamilton at bay. But up front, it's a 2-horse race.
Between Charles Leclerc and Kimi Antonelli, who wouldn't want his teammate George Russell to have something like a slow puncture, because they're not those kind of guys. They want it all fair, but we'll look at the championship at the end of this race and say, well, if it stays this way and if I miss out on the win, my nearest championship challenger has dropped a lot of points as a result of that. Down the Hangar Straight we go. Verstappen ahead of Hamilton. Hamilton switches to the inside. Verstappen has to close that door. Hamilton tries to hang on in there. Let's follow this on the run down to Vale. Hamilton switches out to the right-hand side. Verstappen knew that was coming and points his Red Bull right in the right place. But on the exit now, with the crowd roaring that Ferrari on, Hamilton down the Sir Lewis Hamilton Straight is trying to get up into the podium places. They swing into Abbey and he's still frustrated behind the Red Bull, but it might just carry on a little bit more. Next braking zone is Village and Lewis can't get past the Red Bull.
Antonelli will be on the gearbox of Leclerc within 3 laps. Oh, there it is up on the screen, so I'm just calculating that. But yes, Antonelli absolutely flying in the 1:31.
Here comes Lewis Hamilton once again. This time Max Verstappen might not be able to close the door. He can't. Doors open. Hamilton has barged his way through using the boost down the Wellington Straight. But has he now got enough to try and defend? Verstappen's tyres are 20 laps old. Hamilton's a lot fresher. That will help him with traction, getting through those corners. And Hamilton seems at the moment, Martin, to have this one covered, and he's up back into the podium places.
There's a car just pulling off at Copse. Yeah, he had a box full of neutrals on the pit stop apparently, so presumably that could be another gearbox issue. But I think Lewis has got the tyres now, and they can leave that there. It's completely out of the way. Is Hülkenberg's car on the inside of Copse, protected by barriers. But what will they decide to do? I don't believe...
Virtual safety car.
And
unsurprisingly, Max Verstappen comes in to the pits for a cheap pit stop here. You don't lose as much time behind the virtual safety car. The 2-stop strategy for Red Bull, this might swing very much into Max Verstappen's favour in the closing stages of this race. Medium tyres, new medium tyres going on that Red Bull. And Max Verstappen will come out quite a contented young man, I would imagine, with this.
And that's why they saved them for just this moment in the closing stages of the Grand Prix, a brand new set of tyres. So that brings him right back into play with a sniff of the podium.
And Lando Norris pitting 2. He will come out just behind George Russell, who moves up into 5th place. But like you say, on fresher tyres, Isaac Hadjar in the pits.
What's the plan?
We stay out, Charles, we stay out.
Okay, we are not in a very good place, huh?
Talk about that in a minute. Isaac Hadjar, problem there at the front, maybe the front wing, and trying to adjust that. Should Ferrari have brought Charles Leclerc in? Could Ferrari have brought Charles Leclerc in?
Well, I would have done. He's second. He's going to be second anyway. If he could have got in, he's going to finish second at this rate. So he wouldn't have lost second place had he have done that. So VSC and then managed to move that car quickly away. You're obliged to have a clutch. You've got to be able to switch off the energy store system, leave the steering wheel on and open the clutch. And that looks like that's happened fine, and they've got it out of the way. Ted.
Ferrari had a set of medium tyres ready for Charles Leclerc. They were thinking about it, Martin, but they thought the same for you as you. He's going to finish second anyway. Antonelli's tyres are so young, he's going to overtake him. Had he rejoined with fresher mediums behind him, he wouldn't have closed on him because Antonelli still would have those young tyres and Hamilton's too far back. Yes.
Ted, you've got to be in it to win it sometimes.
Well, I know, but
you've got to give people the best possible chance. And if it would have been a no loss or no gain, just do it for a potential gain. Surely, I take what you're saying there, Ted, but to me, you'd have come out 5 seconds behind Kimi Antonelli. Had he have stopped, yes, they will both be on fresh tyres, but if you think you're going to get overtaken, you might as well just put the best tyres on possible in case.
Yeah, and Leclerc would have been on medium tyres. By the way, did we see why Hadjar clunked his nose cone? Because they changed the nose cone and the front wing on Hadjar's car.
Thank you very much, Ted. Oscar Piastri past Esteban Ocon down into Brooklands. Lance Stroll's got a 5-second time penalty for exceeding track limits 5 times during the course of this race. That's why the penalties come his way.
Again, pushing, right?
Yeah, pushing.
Might as well now, Max. You've done your 2 pit stops. What's the gap between Verstappen and Hamilton? 10.6 seconds. No further investigation for the incident with George Russell. So off you go, see what you can do.
Yeah, on the pit stop, but putting some fresh tyres on, it would have only been a 4-lap offset. They wouldn't have been brand new tyres, as Leclerc slarred some of his rubber down on the way out of Club Corner, but he's kind of got no chance of winning the race at the moment. He might have had half a chance on a lightly used set of mediums.
You do feel rather sorry for Charles Leclerc here. He's had it before at Silverstone. He's not won here before, and he's had it before that in the closing stages he has been overtaken with not much chance of saving the day, and it might well happen again. There he is into Brooklands, and you could just see the Mercedes of Kimi Antonelli lapping Lance Stroll in the background.
Yeah, Antonelli flying along. He's got to get the overtake done, yeah. Let's not take it for granted. Let's see, they've got not a whole lot of traffic in front of them, so they should get a reasonably clear run. Antonelli's got to get past Alonso, which Leclerc has just done, just up ahead of us. And he's 3/10 quicker in the first sector, Antonelli, and he's just faster. He's got much better tyres.
You know, Lance Stroll's just been given a 5-second penalty for exceeding track limits 5 times. He's done it 6 times now.
Nothing broken in the car.
Oh.
Kimi Antonelli slowing down as Lance Stroll passes him, and this is looking bad for the championship leader. Everything was looking good up until this moment. He's coming into the pits.
Okay, any more info?
Nothing broken.
Copy, any more info?
The car is like suspension. I don't know.
Could this be another Barcelona with a mechanical failure for Kimi Antonelli, costing him dear? Ted Kravitz is down there.
They've got a new front wing. I'm having a look at the suspension. Is there anything in the way? No, the tyres are being changed. Oh, as time ebbs away from Kimi Antonelli, I think that maybe there was a broken brake duct on the front, but he rejoins. And that's going to be a loss of, 20 seconds? That might even put him off the podium.
Well, he might
Unbelievable.
He might come out behind his teammate George Russell here as we watch through turn 1 and 2. George Russell coming past. Kimi Antonelli is down in 5th place. And suddenly, a very bright Sunday afternoon is looking not quite so happy and cheery for the championship leader.
Struggling to understand what would be that broken to pull him straight in the pits that a front wing and a set of tyres would change. I'm struggling to think.
Activero?
No, I think he's got other issues, hasn't he?
This other issue might be getting even worse for him, because the other issue he's got is Lando Norris, who was right behind him and is now ahead of him, and Antonelli's gone straight on.
I think he's got some. I think I noticed his steering wheel wasn't straight as he was.
Oh, mate, the suspension is broken.
Yeah.
Okay, copy.
I noticed when he came into the pits, his steering wheel wasn't straight at one point when he was heading in a straight line, so it seemed inconceivable he'd have to pit immediately, and a wing and a set of boots would fix it, frankly, unless it was a penalty, but they would have known that anyway.
And all of a sudden, it has just swung around knots in Kimi Antonelli's favour, and it is looking like a second failure to reach the checkered flag.
I can try to keep going.
We think it is just the wheel shield left-hand side.
In 3 Grand Prix. Now he can bravely try and carry on here. Will it get him a points finish? You can see Isaac Hadjar making his way down that Hangar Straight in 7th place. There's a bit of a gap then to Lawson, to Lindblad and Bortoletto, who's currently in the final points place.
Sounds like it's catching then.
But the car is not turning.
Okay, stand by.
Sounds like something's catching, isn't it, with his steering, but
This is how the Drivers' Championship looks. 37 points. The gap would be to Lewis Hamilton, who would take over once again. Second place in the championship. It's going to get even worse for Antonelli as Hadjar gets past. Ted Kravitz in the pit lane.
So have a look. As I was watching Kimi come in right in front of me, I did see the right-hand side as I look at it. So the left-hand side as it is for the driver. It looked like, do you remember those wheel fairings we had last year?
Yeah.
It looked like one of them was back on the car. That's why I said it looked like a brake duct might be ski width.
Oh, you can see it on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
Now,
Right-hand side, if you look at it straight in.
2 seconds.
yeah.
No, but there's something fundamental, mate. 8-9 below the car doesn't turn.
In a copy. So we'll box the car.
You can
So
see
we'll retire the car.
his left.
I can try to get the point. At least 1 point.
Oh, he's pleading with the team to carry on here, but it looks like it'll all be to no avail, and they don't want to be running that car when it's not safe to run, and he's already gone off the track 2 or 3 times.
Okay, copy now.
Okay, we're going to try and box the car. We'll try and remove the wheel shield and go again.
Confirmation from Mercedes, it is a front left wheel shield failure for Kimi Antonelli.
You can see now, if they can rip that off, then he's got a chance. Ah, there it
On the
is.
curb.
It was on the serrated curb on the outside of Copse, has broken it. And what that will also be doing is trashing the aerodynamics down that side of the car.
Antonelli pits. He's going to be passed in the pit lane by Lawson and Lindblad, potentially Bortoletto as well, who's finished 11th in the last 3 races and is already in the points here as they rip that off. Still going to affect the aero, but at least the offending part has been removed now. He's been shown a black and white flag to aid to his troubles for track limits. One more and he's got a 5-second penalty. He will come out onto the racetrack in 10th place. If every point is precious, Kimi Antonelli is going to scrap away for every point. And there's the Alpine in the background. All this means that Charles Leclerc now has a comfortable 21-second gap between himself and Lewis Hamilton. Ferrari on for a 1-2 here, unless Max Verstappen can chase Hamilton down by the end. And last lap he was about 0.4 of a second faster than Lewis Hamilton. George Russell has his day's improved a bit now. 4th place for him, but only 4th place, and he had a slow puncture, so whatever could go wrong is going wrong for Mercedes today.
Kimi off the road again there, so he might get... It seems nuts to get a track limits when your car won't turn, doesn't it? But hey-ho. He'll be getting himself a penalty. So will Antonelli. And let's see where it all shapes up. So Charles Leclerc then has driven beautifully since he got it away from the start line, and he's weathered the Antonelli coming at him at a second lap. Antonelli's gone over the serrated, but they use them as a fairly standard place.
Mate, no, there's something deeper. I have no front. The wheel is in the air.
Okay, we'll box the car. So this is to retire.
It is going to be, by the sounds of it, at some stage, a second DNF in 3 Grand Prix. Castellini wasn't officially a DNF, he was classified, but he didn't make it to the checkered flag. After that message, though, he has carried on.
Yeah, he's boxed. What he doesn't want to do is go off the track again and get another deleted time, which has happened. So he's already under black and white flag. So basically, I would think the aerodynamics are absolutely all over the show with other pieces that will have been broken in that. So Antonelli then not destined.
Wait, which place I am?
We are just in P10. We've got Colapinto behind.
Colapinto's really gained on Kimi Antonelli on the last lap. There's a gap now of about a second between the Mercedes and the Alpine. It was about 3.5 seconds when Kimi came out of the pits again. Out in front, Leclerc and Hamilton. Ferrari going very nicely.
I'll see. I'll try to get the points.
Kimi, we're getting track limits for all the excursions we've had.
I think there's a 5-second penalty coming his way. He'd already been shown the black and white flag had Kimi Antonelli, and then he went over the track limits once more. 1-2 for Ferrari 24 years ago. Their last 1-2 here with Michael Schumacher and Rubens Barrichello. Charles Leclerc currently leading the driver of the day vote as well. Antonelli carries on. He's going to give it absolutely everything here, but he's getting that sinking feeling, I'm sure, and now under investigation for exceeding track limits. As I said, I think there's a 5-second penalty coming his way.
Track limits should be when you're gaining an advantage by running wider, not when you're trying to survive, basically. Max Verstappen then up in P3 in the box, picture box. So there's Leclerc, plenty of time, hasn't he, up front. Have to keep an eye on his teammate, but not much of one as he cruises towards the end. Max Verstappen well clear of George Russell, lapping similar times, and indeed Antonelli does get a 5-second penalty, which puts him behind Colapinto and Gasly at the moment.
Yeah, and at this stage you think, is there any point continuing onwards? That's the Cadillac of Valtteri Bottas. Valtteri Bottas has been lapped by this man here, Kimi Antonelli, who about 5 laps ago was thinking, this could be my day, my weekend here at the British Grand Prix. I'm on course to become the youngest ever winner of the British Grand Prix, but mechanical issues with that wheel shield has robbed him of that potential chance. He's just going to go for it and see what he can do from here.
So his last lap was a 33.8, which is very competitive. Actually, Antonelli, let's see what this one is as he heads to the line, because that was quicker than the 2 Alpines behind him. A 33.5. He's fine. He's absolutely fine. He's got to now pin it and try and get those 5 seconds back.
And if he does finish 5 seconds ahead of Franco Colapinto, that will be 1 point. There is a man out. It's Alex Albon to go with Nico Hülkenberg. That Williams has been around at the back. Into the gravel goes Max Verstappen. And Verstappen looks like he is out at Stowe at the British Grand Prix. Now he's kept the engine running. Has the car beached? Can he get some traction out of that gravel? Safety car now deployed. Full safety car deployed. And what a dramatic ending we could now be getting to this British Grand Prix. Verstappen can see those double wave yellows in front of him. He can see the fluorescent yellows in the Lando stand. And I think he might be out of this British Grand Prix.
Now, Leclerc, if the safety car doesn't pick him up, which he might well do, he's as far away from the pits as you can get, Charles Leclerc. He'd love to be pitting. Otherwise, he's under pressure on the restart from both Hamilton and Russell. So that could not have come at a worse time for Charles Leclerc. Will he get a chance to pit before the safety car picks him up? We'll see when he gets round Stowe Corner. They're at safety car speeds. He will surely pit for some fresh tyres. They won't be closing the pit lane because the incident is nowhere near the pit lane. So that's fine. And surely he'll turn right here and put a fresh set of tyres on, and he does.
Lawson, Lindblad, Bortoletto all pitting, Colapinto pitting. If you can get into the pits, you will come into the pits, and Charles Leclerc does that. How many laps will it take to recover that stranded Red Bull? Max Verstappen's out of the car. If it takes a couple of laps, we might just get one more lap of racing here, but they're covering off any eventualities at Ferrari with Charles Leclerc. And a neat stop. Does Hamilton now come into the pits? Yes, he does. Yeah. So Lewis Hamilton behind him will pit for new soft tyres, I would have thought.
That's what they put on happy days for Charles Leclerc. He got in the pits before being picked up by the safety car, and he is in, and they're not brand new, but a set of soft compound tyres. Happy days for young Charles. And very, very good too. Ted's down there.
Yeah, so everyone pitting for soft tyres. Just a thought, if everyone does pit and Antonelli stays out and keeps going, he might get rather more than 10th place, or even he was going to be even lower, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Especially if it doesn't restart. Well, weird the way these things go.
Yeah, well, everyone's going to squeeze up together. It's bad news for Kimi Antonelli. George Russell didn't pit. George Russell didn't come into the pits. And has he bypassed Lewis Hamilton on the track and into second place? It looks like he has.
Yep.
So by pitting Lewis Hamilton, George Russell has moved up into second place. Ferrari, by pitting Hamilton, might have cost him a runners-up here.
And, whoa, just got sideways, corrected it, and unusual for Max Verstappen, back end got away from him as he turned in.
Now that rear wing reattached at a very late moment there, and I wonder if that had an influence on what happened.
Yeah, he was, he had to counter steer into the slide, and the front axle just bit, and off he went. We saw that recently with somebody else, didn't we? Did a similar thing.
That's not great. This car, unbelievable. Yes.
That's not good that time, is it? It's not good.
No, I don't think there was anything good ever on Max's mind there. That might be a bit of an active error reattachment. This is going to be really interesting if we don't get a resumption of this race. Ferrari, by going for the aggressive strategy with Lewis Hamilton, might have thrown away a second place and handed it to George Russell. Now, we've got Piastri down to Stroll, who have all been lapped, and they might need to unlap themselves, which is not going to help in terms of getting restarted. And now Hamilton's been noted for a yellow flag infringement.
So the other problem, as you can happen with Antonelli, with the 5-second penalty in a safety car queue, you can lose endless places there, can't you? As we saw Russell do in Monaco. So Lando Norris put a fresh set of tyres on, but he's too far out of the picture. It's Piastri is the McLaren behind Russell and Hamilton.
So Bernd Mailander has now picked up our race leader, Charles Leclerc. It's the latest ever safety car period we've had on this configuration of a British Grand Prix of this track since 2010 when it was first used. So there you go, George Russell ahead of Lewis Hamilton. Oscar Piastri has been lapped and he needs to unlap himself.
We do have a 5-second penalty for track limits.
Yeah, but that's a joke, mate. I didn't do it on purpose.
I know.
Like, the car was broken.
Yeah, understood.
Like, I wasn't even getting time.
Yeah, no, I know, mate.
Yeah, as you said, Martin, quite rightly, it does seem very unfair when you've got an issue on your car and you can't stay on the track, that you get pinged for track limits.
Yeah, track limits are a performance penalty, not a survival penalty.
This is going to be really touch and go as to whether we get a resumption here or not. And
it's a big old gravel trap out there, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's the unlapping of the cars as well. That will need to happen. Sir Mo Farah, who knows that in life it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, is waiting to wave the checkered flag for the Grand Prix here at Silverstone, and it looks like it's going to be a Ferrari 1-3 currently, and it might be kind of at a pace that Mo Farah might fancy. You could overtake a few cars down the Sir Lewis Hamilton Straight. We might be behind the safety cars at the end here.
And Lewis has got this sort of threat over him that he might not have lifted enough under the yellow flags, lifted the throttle.
And that would really compound things if he was to pick up a timed penalty for that.
I was thinking George Russell never gets any luck when he had that puncture, but it's played out all right actually now, hasn't it?
I mean, it's a swing of 3 points. The luck obviously going George Russell's way with what's happened to his teammate, Kimi Antonelli, here today.
I want to see a flag, I want to see a graphic that says lapped runners may now fall to the back of the pack.
Yeah.
So we can get on with it.
It's the easiest way to sort this out, and I still don't understand. I know there's fuel and all that sort of thing. I still don't understand why we can't just do that. They've been lapped, those back markers, but it's the way it is. We're about to start lap 51 of the British Grand Prix. There are 2 laps to go. Now the lapped cars can overtake the safety car.
We might get one lap. They don't have to wait until they catch the pack up. They really don't. Just clear them away and let's get on with it with a good flying. We want to finish this race.
And we got a long enough track for all this to happen and then to clear out the way. Ted, down to you.
I mean, they are doing, race control is doing everything they can to try and get one racing lap at the end. I'm not sure it's going to be enough. The safety car, Bernd Maylander, is playing his part, going really slowly to allow everybody to unlap themselves. But then the race restarts at the end of the following lap. It might be one of those ones where they just power to the line after the safety car spears into the pits.
Right, yeah. We're getting those lap cars now overtaking as Max Verstappen makes his way back to the pits and with the crowd down at Stowe. It's a first retirement here at Silverstone since 2021. That is now the Drivers' Championship and the lead, 27 points between Kimi Antonelli and George Russell. Lewis Hamilton will be 7 points further back in third. Charles Leclerc on for a win here. But if we get one lap of racing, it's a win that is going to be no foregone conclusion.
Right, they have to pull the safety car in at the end of this lap. The lap runners are now half a lap away. There's absolutely no need to wait until they catch the pack. And I don't think it's obligatory either. We can end the safety car at the end of this lap.
Do you fancy one lap of racing to decide the British Grand Prix in 2026 with two Ferraris on soft tyres pitting behind the safety car and the driver in between them, George Russell, on 17 lap old medium tyres? Safety cars coming in, whether you fancy it or not, you're going to get it. Also pitting, of course, Lando Norris and Isaac Hadjar, Liam Lawson, Arvid Lindblad, Gabriel Bortoletto, Kimi Antonelli and Franco Colapinto. Well, Antonelli didn't pit, so he's on older tyres too. This is going to be quite the 3.6 miles here at Silverstone.
Yeah, George Russell probably wishes it was going to finish under the safety car, but we are going to get some kind of wild lap where they can deploy every little bit of power they've got.
Because there's no point saving anything for after you've crossed the line, because that will be the end of the race. Now, when does Charles Leclerc go here? When does he decide it is the right time to move out of the way? Why is Bernd Maylander still there?
Didn't go in the pit lane. Safety car didn't.
Oh, it's been redeployed, that's why. It's been the safety car's been redeployed. We're going to finish behind the safety car. So that one lap of racing that we're all looking forward to, we are now not going to get. This is the final lap of the British Grand Prix. Bernd Maylander was prepared to come in, but race control and the race director have seen something that has made them think, no, we can't get going again. And Ferrari's decision to pit Lewis Hamilton has cost him second place.
You've got a beeping machine, Crofty. I'm going to need it shortly.
Yeah. We don't know why the safety car's been deployed. I'm sure that there is a very good reason for it. That bleeping machine is, well, it might be needed for Lewis Hamilton. It will be needed, I'm sure, for Max Verstappen, given what we've heard about his car so far. And it might be needed for round about 170,000 fans here today who are not getting the ending to the Grand Prix that they would want. It might be needed for Kimi Antonelli as well, because he's not going to get any points here.
No, he's not, because they're going to back at the lap runner's going to come back behind him. He's already in P11 with his 5-second penalty, and that's going to be significantly worse. Safety car, well, the safety car will come in this lap because it's obliged to, so it doesn't get in the way of the glorious shot of the winner going over the line.
I'm hearing booing from the fans on this one. I know you weren't a fan of Shrek 2, but I think this latest instalment of the British Grand Prix might be even more disappointing in terms of its ending, and I can see some fans actually streaming away from the grandstands already. It's been such a brilliant weekend here at Silverstone. And the one thing that you just can't predict, because it's live sport, the one thing that we're all here to see is giving us the dampest, the wettest of damp squib endings.
Yeah, and you cannot overtake until the line, capital L, the timing line. So nobody can overtake anyway now. It's done and dusted.
But whatever the fans think about this ending, the one thing I'm sure they'll all stand and applaud is Ferrari number 16, Charles Leclerc. For the first time since Austin in 2024, Charles Leclerc is victorious. He wins the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. George Russell on the podium for Mercedes on the day that his teammate is going to finish out of the points, and Lewis Hamilton, for a 16th time here at Silverstone, makes up the podium places by coming home in 3rd place. Lando Norris 4th, Isaac Hadjar 5th, Liam Lawson 6th for Liam Lawson today, a super day for the Racing Bulls. Arvid Lindblad comes home in 7th place to equal his best result in Formula One. Gabriel Bortoletto's back in the points for the first time since Australia. Colapinto and Gasly complete the top 10.
And sometimes never last.
Let's go!
Only tough people last.
I will finally. This one feels particularly good, even though I wished a bit of a more normal ending, but hard work pays off, and as you said, tough time never lasts, only tough people left.
No disguising his delight.
Antonelli finished then as the pack caught up. The crocodile of the safety car. Antonelli finishes down in 16th place.
There's delight there for Mrs. Leclerc in the Ferrari garage. George Russell finishes now. That 2nd place finish for George Russell today means he's been 1st or 2nd at the last 3 Grand Prix. Exactly what George Russell needed. His luck turned around in the latter stages.
Well done for sticking in there, but let's really try and get on top of this straight line speed stuff. That was a very frustrating weekend. Otherwise, we got lucky with the what to do.
Yeah, George, I think straight line was okay in the race.
Yeah, Toto not wanting to hear it that his car wasn't fast enough. The boss of Mercedes, so Lewis has got that inquiry hanging over him for the yellow flag infringement. We have no idea of the details or severity of that, but for now he's P3. Lawson and Lindblad coming home 6th and 7th for Racing. With Bortoletto in there for Audi. Both Alpines in the points as well. Oscar Piastri just outside the points. He had a miserable afternoon, didn't he? So
for Lewis Hamilton, this is a key investigation. If he is found to have committed something wrong under the yellow flags and gets at least a 5-second time penalty for it, it takes him out of the points.
Yeah, right out of the points. Are you sure? Right.
So
yes,
it would be.
Yes, it would.
He'd be down behind kind of Esteban Ocon territory.
You're right. 5 seconds would take him. Wow.
So Lando Norris saying on the radio, Lewis is overtaking everyone. And he was obviously right behind Lewis Hamilton. I'm assuming that will be during the yellow flag.
And that will be investigated after the race. So Lewis will do the full podium. And you know what? It was an unhappy ending for this Grand Prix, to say the least, for all of us. But Leclerc won that race fair and square.
Well, we were first of all denied the finish between Charles Leclerc and Kimi Antonelli that we were expecting and that was coming, and we didn't get a chance to see his defensive talents, but we did see him at the start taking the lead and then controlling the pace beautifully in the early stages, and then we didn't see the finishes of all finishes here at the British Grand Prix with 1 lap to decide the racing. This is officially, I think, the closest winning margin. 0.427 seconds, closer than the 2013 race when Rosberg beat Webber, but it was behind a safety car, so it's going to be close.
That was a red line drawing through that particular start, wasn't it?
I think so. I can hear the glittering tone in your voice on that one, but I'm just saying it's out there. It's all happening. So all smiles down at Ferrari. Would you have pitted Lewis Hamilton? Was it the right thing to do? We weren't kind of questioning that before he came in, but we certainly thought as Russell went past him, that might have been a bit of a ricket.
No, I think you had to pit him, because imagining it would take that long to get rid of the Red Bull out of the gravel. And then, of course, all the lap runners. I am very keen to know why the safety car was redeployed.
as yet, no information, but I'm sure we'll get it from the FIA. And if we don't get it, we'll be going and asking the question. Kimi Antonelli walks away. Very disappointed man, I'm sure, with what could have been victory once more. It's another race that he's led, another race he could have won, but he didn't.
Yeah, it looked like the serrated curves, didn't it, on the outside of Copse, but that's a fairly normal place to be. There wasn't an adventure he was having there. So the car, that whatever the frequency going to the car, broke his car because he was in for an absolute slam dunk victory. Was Kimi Antonelli? He had a second a lap over Charles Leclerc, and we know how fast he's been down the back straight as well. So that was done and dusted because Leclerc's tyres were going to be towards the end of their life too. But that fell away, as you said, and then I was so looking forward to that last lap. That was going to be wild.
It certainly was. We'll hear from the top three in a few moments. Great day, it has to be said, for Racing Bulls. For Liam Lawson 6th and Arvid Lindblad 7th. That is some a proper haul of points there. That's 14 points for Racing Bulls. And I think that moves them ahead of Alpine once again in the championship. No, it doesn't, because Alpine scored points as well. Moves them 2 points behind Alpine. As Charles and Lewis have their debrief and part further.
So, I mean, Ferrari were hopeless in Austria, weren't they, for some reason? But they've won 2 of the last 3 races.
Yes. Mercedes, George Russell, he said he didn't have the pace there. He doesn't have the pace. Kimi Antonelli probably did have the pace. The British fans that have stayed behind are going to be treated to the podium ceremony in a few moments' time. There'll be concerts later tonight. There's even an evening at the darts as well later tonight as Ted Kravitz and Luke Littler take on Fallon Sherrick and Natalie Pinkham. Lots to keep people here for quite some time.
And you're having your own celebration, aren't you? We've got time to talk about that.
Right, so let's hear from Jenson Button first. With today's winner, Charles Leclerc, back on top of the podium.
Charles, you just won the British Grand Prix. How's that feel?
Yeah, it feels incredible. I mean, unfortunately, the end was maybe not the one I will have dreamt of, but I mean, to win after the last few weekends that have been particularly difficult, all the work that we put into trying to get the feeling back in the car, I felt like I had found something yesterday between sprint race and qualifying, but I had to confirm that today, and today the feeling was back where it needs to be. So I'm so incredibly happy.
It's been quite an emotional year for you. A few incidents, obviously Monaco, Barcelona and qualifying. So it's kind of getting a monkey off your back. It looks like you've had a reset and you've come out fighting this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. As you said, after Monaco, the feeling wasn't there. I crashed in Q3. Then in the race, we had an issue and that ended our race. Then Saturday in Barcelona, the feeling was good, but then I crashed again. So that was very difficult mentally. And then on Sunday, we had an issue with the car. And Austria wasn't so great, but here we managed to put everything together, and I really hope I can keep that momentum going forward. And yeah, but a huge thank you to the team for having worked so hard.
Nice work.
Thank you.
George, not the most straightforward race for you out there, but must be pretty happy to come away with second on the podium.
Yeah, I mean, that was, firstly, congrats to Charles. Drove a great race, great to be here, always in Silverstone, my first podium, so really pleased to be standing here. Even though, I don't know, it was obviously a very unlucky race, got the puncher, then got very lucky at the end with the safety car. I was glad to see, I mean, it would have been great for the fans for it to have restarted. From my side, my tyres were stone cold, so I was kind of glad to just bring it home in second. Tough weekend, but overall, good to be standing here.
Why do you think that was for you this weekend? You know, your pace not being quite where you wanted it to be?
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I mean, in qualifying, we had some straight line speed issues. I don't know if it was there still in the race. But anyway, I'm going to keep pushing. My team are going to keep pushing. These Ferrari guys look really quick, so yeah, game on.
I'm with you as well. I wouldn't have wanted the restart with this guy behind you. Lewis, I'm sure it's a bit bittersweet. Home Grand Prix, you stood on the podium, obviously wanted the top step, and it didn't go your way at the end with putting the new tyres on. But listen to that crowd.
Yeah, well, firstly, I have to big congratulations to Charles. Winning at this Grand Prix is such a special experience, and this is a great result for our team. So congratulations to our team. Yeah, I just didn't have it today. I jumped the start, already got a 5-second penalty, but Charles had the pace on me today. I struggled with the balance of the car, but I gave it everything, and I'm grateful to be up here.
Yeah, I mean, watching the race, you were fighting hard with George and Max, but it must be promising for you to see Charles' pace and your pace in the race. Can you take the fight to these guys, Mercedes?
I mean, it looks like it. I'm not really sure what happened to Kimi, but yeah, it looks like, I mean, the team's doing a phenomenal job. So we have some work still to do to really, really close the gap on pure performance, but look at these results. You know, 2 wins for the team this year. This is just fantastic.
Congratulations. Charles, we'll finish with you. That wasn't the most straightforward race either, was it? Kimi was there pushing you all the way. Obviously, he had his issue, which helped you a little bit. And then the safety car at the end, you must be thinking, what do I need to do?
I mean, with Kimi, it will have been close. He was very fast when he was coming towards me, so it will have been very difficult to keep that first place. Then I heard he had a problem, so I was like, okay, now I have quite a big gap, and it should be straightforward. But then the safety car at the end, and for whatever reason, I think some backmarkers had to pass us, so I did all the safety car time at like 100, 120 kph. My tires were like completely cold, so I was very skeptical about the restart, but it's not great for the fans that are here around the track, but in the helmet I was kind of happy that there was not a restart to keep that win. So yeah, it feels really good.
Yeah, this is some of the best fans in the world, and I'm sure they'll join me in congratulating you on an amazing win.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
For Charles Leclerc, it is a 9th win, and as I mentioned, his first since Austin in 2024. You would be surprised to know, Martin, a lot of people have been messaging me during the course of those interviews saying, yes, how Abu Dhabi 2021 should have finished, really. Sorry guys, we can't turn back time on that one. The fans are let now down to celebrate the podium. For Charles Leclerc, it's a victorious podium. For Ferrari, it's a very good day at first and third for them. Mercedes with a lot of questions, and we're still trying to get an answer for you as to why the safety car stayed out for another lap.
I'm very much hoping that there is a separate incident, separate reason, and not just a change of mind or a mistake sake bring them in, because we've all been denied a proper end to that Grand Prix. Because the back mark, the whole point of letting the back marks through is so they don't interrupt the leaders and get involved in the result of the race. When they're half a Silverstone lap away, 5th longest lap on the circuit, they... Wait and see.
We've asked the question, we're waiting for the answer, but as that man there leaps into the arms of his team.
You know when the light bulb came on for him in the Sky F1 show Thursday night in the 2-seater car?
Yeah.
Came on for Charles there.
Who was his partner that day?
Yeah, exactly. Trundle. Leclerc Trundle.
Fast. Gene Russell, Lewis Hamilton waiting for Charles Leclerc in the cool-down rooms.
Kimi went for so long with me.
Yeah.
Turn 6 was super understeer today.
It was much more understeer today than the day before.
Then it got a bit better.
Yeah, I think the wind picked up. Oh yeah. It's a breakdown.
Oh.
Weird though. Rear wing maybe didn't close.
Yeah.
the entry speed of that corner is fast with the headwind. That was crazy. I want to see if the cars didn't feel bad here. It felt fast.
It felt better than what I thought.
Yeah, me too.
Also the deployment and everything, it wasn't so bad.
Yeah, me too.
Also the deployment and everything, it wasn't so bad. What lap did you stop this?
I will break away from the cool-down room for a moment. Wasn't the greatest conversation I've ever heard in the cool-down room after a race, to be fair.
If you think Charles Leclerc seems like a very nice young man, I've got news for you. He is a brilliant person. He's absolutely special, a special young man, and polite and courteous and professional in every way. He really is a lovely guy. It's good to see him back on form.
Lewis's mum down there in Parc Fermé. Flags are all waving as we wait for the drivers to come out onto the podium. It's been a long, hot festival weekend here at Silverstone. That is what we were racing for today. That's not life-size. But the gold trophy, the best trophy, it really is, that we race for of the season.
It's not one you get to keep, like one has to be handed back, because it's a very special, you do get your own trophies. The top three, Lewis Hamilton paying very due respect to his teammate Charles Leclerc as well, wasn't he?
Certainly was. So a first podium here at Silverstone for George Russell. For Lewis Hamilton, the 16th podium here at Silverstone for him. For Charles Leclerc, a first visit to the top step of the podium for what is Ferrari's 250th Grand Prix victory. Milestones all around here in the sunshine at the British Grand Prix. smiles, all cheers, and a lot of singing going on for Ferrari in their 250th victory as the Secretary of State for Culture, Media and Sports, Lisa Nandy, presents the gold trophy to Charles Leclerc. Happy days for him. And Ferrari winning for a second time in 3 races. Presented by the sponsors of this Grand Prix. Another one to add to the Maranello Trophy cabinet. 843rd podium as well. Minister for Sport as the trophy for George Russell. 29th podium for him. And Lewis Hamilton's run of record-breaking feats at Silverstone continues. 16 podiums at Silverstone, the most at any racetrack or any single racetrack. Kimi Antonelli, the championship leader, was on course for a win. He didn't finish in the points. Ferrari were there to take advantage. George Russell was there to take advantage. The championship closes up as a result. And we've got to finish behind the safety car. For what reason? We'll find out. But for now, the smiles and the celebrations belong to the Scuderia at Silverstone.
Yeah, what a shame. Race control denying us a one-lap grandstand finish. As I said, we'll get to the bottom of that. But a real shame because it deserved it, didn't it? It all happened after that damage to Kimi Antonelli's car and then Max Verstappen going off. But in the end, Charles Leclerc with Ferrari's 250th win, his 9th and his first here at Silverstone. Lewis Hamilton, a yellow flag infringement. He'll be going to see the steward shortly. Perhaps he might be denied that, his 16th podium, which is a record. But a first podium for George Russell. Well done for him. We've got 2 Brits on the podium, but not the top step. That belongs to Charles Leclerc, who deserved it. He had the pace today, and it is the man that lifts that famous gold trophy. 2 more before the summer break. Next up, Spa.